On July 13, 1958, the Bent family went to picnic on Sage Creek Campground in Montana to celebrate the birthday of their 5-year-old daughter, Mary Gay. There were other friends and families who came to picnic as well. Mary had twin brothers, John and Arthur, with 7 years of age, and another brother who was 1 year old at the time. Mary just had a bone marrow transfer to accelerate growth in her arm, so her left arm and shoulder were heavily bandaged. At 3 p.m., Mary asked her mother if she could go to restroom by herself, which was 20 feet away. Her mom said that was fine, but Mary never came back. Family and friends started shouting her name and searched the immediate area with no success. They started searching less than 5 minutes after she went to the bathroom, so they knew she couldn't have gone far. They called the authorities the same day and bloodhound dogs and state police came to the scene. 40 officers spent the entire first night looking for Mary with no result. It's worth mentioning, not long after Mary's disappearance, a heavy rain started in the area. The area Mary went missing is a small valley with Sage Creek flowing down the center. There are also lots of large mountains in this area. On July 14th, one day after Mary went missing, at 2 p.m., one searcher was walking alone thousands of feet up the mountain from the campsite and thought he saw a clump lying on the ground below a large pine tree. As the searcher approached the tree, he saw a large coat with its hood pulled up over the head of a body. When the searcher pulled the hood back, he was surprised by seeing Mary asleep 2 miles from the campsite they were staying at and amazingly 100 feet higher in elevation. The girl was found among large trees and thick vegetations. Her arm with the bandage was not injured. Mary didn't say much about her disappearance as she couldn't remember much. But she did say she had gone back and forth from where she was found and the campsite the night before, as if she knew where the campsite was but didn't return. Authorities asked her how she's dried despite the rainstorm and she answered she slept under a log. If she was going back and forth between where she was found and the campsite, then she should have been soaked in water, but that wasn't the case. How Mary got lost just 20 feet away from her parents and how she spent the night remains a mystery to this day. Lawrence Prange was a 20-year-old fellow who loved the outdoors. His love for wildlife was so much that led him to study wildlife at University of Montana at Missoula County. He actually found a cabin behind the university that he made it his home. Lawrence enjoyed hunting the surrounding areas during his study. On August 10, 1958, he went to Seeley Lake region to hunt some mountain goats. He had come to this area one more time before this time, and as last time he took his German Shepherd dog with him. Lawrence entered the wilderness carrying his backpack with 2 rifles inside. His dog was carrying his own backpack with supplies. Lawrence was supposed to call his girlfriend and parents on August 14th when he comes out of the wilderness, but he never made those calls. When nobody heard from Lawrence, his parents came to Montana and his girlfriend Sue went to the search center. Searchers brought in helicopters, men on horseback, canine dogs and lots of volunteers. After 1 month of search, they found nothing. On September 20th, after 40 days of Lawrence's disappearance, a group of search team saw Lawrence's German Shepherd running wildly through the brush. It was found close to Lindbergh Lake. There are plenty of water in the area for any animal to stay alive. The search team couldn't get close to the dog because it was too jumpy and nervous. The area they found the dog was 3 miles from the primary search area. The search team actually went and brought Lawrence's girlfriend, and she was the only person who could get close to the dog. The dog eventually calmed down and followed the group. After a day of calming the dog and feeding her, they took it to the top of the area where they thought Lawrence had hunted. As soon as they got to the area, the dog started to get nervous again and wanted nothing to do with that place. He wanted to get out of that area as soon as possible. Searchers examined the German Shepherd, but there was no wounds on the animal, showing it was in a fight. The dog's backpack was missing, and Lawrence's family and girlfriend knew the backpack needed human intervention to be removed. Searchers never found this or any of the Lawrence's equipment. The fact that Lawrence's dog didn't want to be in the area or wanted to look for his owner seemed weird. German Shepherd dogs are one of the most loyal dogs, and they usually don't leave their owner's side even after they die for some time. But Lawrence's dog reacted as if it didn't even want to be in that area. It's worth mentioning, the area that Lawrence went to hunt has lots of lakes, which makes it hard to search. Almost at the middle of these lakes there is a lake called Lucifer. On September 24th, after 44 days Lawrence went missing, the search operation was terminated. Lawrence's parents went to his cabin to collect his belongings, and his girlfriend went back to university to resume her study to become a wildlife technician. Lawrence's parents went to their home with the dog without ever knowing what happened to their son. Lawrence Prange was never found. In August of 2007, 20 years old Christina Kleisa was camping with her cousin and two of her cousin's friends at Rainbow Fall Provincial Park of Ontario, Canada. This is a remote area with lots of thick vegetations. Christina was a teacher in Toronto and didn't have much experience in the outdoors. On August 6th, she went running with one of her cousin's friends. Somewhere during the run, they went into separate directions and Christina disappeared. Thunder Bay Police started a massive search with 80 police officers, volunteers, helicopters, airplane and K9 dog teams. After 17 days of intense search and not finding a single trace of Christina, the search got terminated. Park officials stated there was no aggressive bears in this area, and they believed Christina could survive in the wild because of the warm weather and lots of drinking water in this region. Police ruled out any involvement of her cousin and his friends in the disappearance. It's very hard to get lost in this location because the trails are well marked and defined. About 120 miles east of where Christina went missing, another person with the name of Aju Chakovibider went missing on May 16, 2006, almost a year before Christina incident. He was 26 years old when this happened. Aju was a forestry worker planting saplings in a remote region 50 miles north of White River, Ontario. The area he was working was very desolate with thick vegetations. He was supposed to meet a helicopter to be lifted out of the area, but he never arrived. Aju was in a good shape and had the ability to survive the outdoors. Police did an extensive search and found nothing. Christina Kleisa and Aju Chokwoodibear were never found.